Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Ajwritescrypto, and welcome to another episode of No Sweat Bets. No Sweat Bets is your weekly Polymarket overview where we go over every money-making opportunity that I'm personally looking at, personally betting on myself. If you've never watched the show before, hold on, buckle up, because we have some fun on this show. We have been killing it this year. We're up over $250,000 betting just on Polymarket. This has been insane. Shout out to Polymarket for sponsoring this show, and let's get into it because this week is stacked. This is a stacked week. So much to talk about. Things happening. Of course, there's always a lot of military type stuff on Polymarket. Will Russia invade NATO? Venezuela military. I kind of stay away from a lot of that stuff. And lately, I've really been zoning in on football. I've been zoning in on baseball. Right now, I'm paying attention to this boxing match. Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford. All right. This is a very, very big fight tonight. It's a very big fight. Alvarez is the favorite. 62 cents. If you were to bet $1,000 on Canelo, you'd get $1,600 back. If you were to spend $1,000 on Crawford, you get $2,500 back. And here's the thing. Crawford's the underdog. My good friend Crypto Face, you might know him. He's calling Crawford. My good friend Paisan, who works at VeChain, he's also calling Crawford. Two people very familiar with combat sports taking the underdog. And when this starts to happen to me, when I get information, I have to look at both sides of the fence and do my research, okay? And there is a reason. Canelo's the underdog here. Alvarez is the underdog here. And I'm sorry, Crypto Face. I'm sorry, Paisan. But I'm probably going to bet somewhere in the ballpark around $10,000 on Canelo for tonight to make $16,000. I will put this post on Twitter. Someone who likes that post, as I do if I win my bet, someone who likes the post will win like $200 or something like that for fun. But I'm going to go against the advice of my friends. In a big, giant boxing match like this with over $1.7 million in volume, I am not taking the underdog bet. I think the underdog bet is probably a sucker's play. I'm going to take the safe bet and go with Canelo Alvarez. Also, tonight, Noche UFC. This card isn't too crazy. There are some pick'ems on this card, like Font Martinez. Like, I'm not going to touch that one. Garcia Gordon, I'd probably go Gordon. A lot of the other, bets don't really have that much money put on them except for Lopez and Silva. And I've seen Lopez fight in person so many times. And he lost the championship fight to Volk and went the distance with Volk, but they're still giving him 34 cents underdog for Lopez. That's crazy to me. I know UFC way more than I know boxing. Let me say that again. I know UFC way more than I know boxing. And I've seen Diego Lopez fight in person more than 3 times. And to give him an underdog at 34 cents it's disgusting. That's an abomination. That is not okay. This dude is way better than 34 cents. Obviously Sylvia's bad dude, but I'm going Lopez here. I'm going the underdog on the UFC fight. $1,000 will get you about 3,000 back, little under 3,000 back. So I'm going the favorite for the boxing fight. I'm going the underdog for UFC. Interesting one to talk about is the MLB home run leader. All right. So our guy, Kyle Schwarber of the Philadelphia Phillies, I think there's like 16 games left, 14 games left, something like that. Right now, the runnings are Cal Ray from the Mariners is at 53 and Kyle is at 50. So Kyle has to get 3 home runs plus outperform Cal in the last, 14 games of the year. And, this doesn't have much volume. Kyle is only 12,000. Cal is only 8,000. But, I am a Phillies fan. I am going to throw, $100, $200 at Kyle Schwarber to catch Cal, to overtake him here. It is, I think if you were betting safe, But the thing is, it says 51% chance. But if you bet $200 on Cal, it really be 86% chance because although it says 51% chance, the shares are 74% chance. 74%. So you kind of have to pay attention to the shares versus the percentage of it happening. But I'm going to throw $100, $200 at my guy Kyle. Go Phillies. Speaking of Phillies, got a couple things I want to talk about with baseball. First of all, today, if you're watching the games today around 3:00 our time, which is on the West Coast, the Phillies are battling the Royals. And it's only 58 cents on this. I mean, if you put, $1,000 on the Phillies, you get $1,700 back. That's a really good bet. The Phillies are red hot right now. I think their magic number is like 8. I think they're basically guaranteed playoff berth, and that they're very close to first round bye. And that kind of leads me to my next bet, because I'm probably going to be betting single games on the Phillies now, because now they're fighting for that first round bye. And that first round bye is such a big deal when we get to the World Series. Okay. So I'm going to be betting the single bet against the Royals tonight. That's definitely happening. But when you consider the futures, World Series champion, the Phillies have a 13% chance to win. Here's the thing. I mentioned this before. And I actually bought some shares for Phillies at 11 cents. They're already at 12.9 cents. The shares have already gone up since I talked about the strategy. But my strategy is to bet the Phillies. Say you bet $1,000. All right, you'd win $7,400 back if they went on to win the entire World Series. But that's not what we're doing. We are counting on the Phillies getting the first round bye. By then, the wild card series will be over. The Phillies will be in the final, 8 teams of playoffs, and their shares are going to go way higher than 13 cents in the case once wild card weekend's over and we get to the real round. That's what I'm talking about. The shares are going to be, this is a scalp trade. This is not, I'm not saying the Phillies are going to win the World Series. I hope they do, by God. I hope they do. But my trade, this bet, is counting on them buying their shares now, counting on them getting the first round bye, and once before the first round bye game happens, after the wild card, scalp the shares. That's what I'm doing. That's the plan. Also, F1 Championship, Oscar Piastri. I've been saying the words Oscar Piastri on No Sweat Bets this whole time. And this whole time, his shares have gone from like 45 cents all the way to 78 cents. Lando Norris, his teammate, made a big mistake at the last Dutch Grand Prix. Oscar won that bet as well, like I told you he would at the Budge Creek episode of No Sweat Bets. And guys, still, if you bet $1,000 on Oscar to win the championship, you'd still get $1,200. If you want a free, if you want to make a free $1,700, put $10,000 on Oscar Piastri to win the F1 Drivers Championship. It is a high exposure bet, but I'm telling you, it is free money. Lock it up. Oscar Piastri, been saying this all year. I basically gave you that one. Another one I gave you guys. Will Polymarket go live in 2025? When this first started on Polymarket, guess what? The shares were at like 33 cents. Now the shares are at 93 cents. And I knew it was going to happen. And I told you guys, you're welcome. Free money, everybody. Free money. All right. So, and also, will the Vikings beat the Bears last week? It was a pretty close game. Well, Minnesota defeated Chicago 8 of the last 10 matchups. JJ surrounded by playmakers. 12 of 15 week 1 games were won by teams on the road. Lock it up. Of course, the Bears beat the Vikings. Excuse me. Of course, the Vikings beat the Bears. And this guy, Super Dad, won $200 in crypto from liking this post. And I won my bet. Also, Cowboys covered the spread in week 1 on the first game of the year. Lock it up. So far, we are 2 for 2 on our National Football League picks so far. We did 2 bets in week 1, Cowboys spread and the Viking money line. We won both of those bets, and now we are going on to week 2. And guys, also follow my Twitter account. We are trending on Twitter right now. We're doing very well. We've got over 60,000 just yesterday. We're still moving up from there. But guys, we have been making some insane calls on Polymarket. And every time I do a public bet, all you have to do is like the tweet. And if you like the tweet and I win my bet, you have a chance to win $200. Sometimes I do 300, 500, doesn't matter. People are winning. When I win, my audience wins. And that's how I like to do things around here. And also, don't forget, now's a good time to say it. I was going to save it for the end, but don't forget, we are still giving away one more Tesla Model 3 Next month, I'm doing my interview with Sonny Liu in Las Vegas. And then at the very end of the year, we're giving away a Cybertruck. Let me say it again. We are giving away a Cybertruck, ladies and gentlemen. One Tesla Model 3 giveaway left and one Cybertruck giveaway to knock out the year with a bang. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, all the things. But we're not done. We have to talk about NFL Week 2. All right, so let's look at the games here. I'll just kind of go through them. Obviously, the Ravens are heavy favorite against the Browns. The Browns actually always end up playing pretty well against the Ravens. I wouldn't hate buying the Browns, waiting for them to get a touchdown and selling the shares, because the Browns always show up when they play the Ravens. But all in all, money line, Ravens are going to win. Bengals versus the Jaguars. Jaguars got a squad this year, but the Bengals are really strong. I'm going Bengals on that one. Obviously, the Cowboys are going to beat the Giants. Obviously, the Lions are going to beat the Bears. The Bears did play pretty good against the Vikings, but Chicago, man, I think they're going to have a really tough year. I do like the Lions for this game, but similar to the Browns, you could do a scalp type play with the Bears, but the scalp for the Browns is so much better because those shares are starting at 13 cents, not 28 cents. The Patriots-Dolphin game, I'm not going to touch. I'm not going to touch that game. I don't have an opinion on that game. 49ers-Saints, I'm going to go 49ers. Bills-Jets, I'm going to go Bills, obviously. Seahawks-Pittsburgh, I'm going to go Seahawks. The Seahawks do have a squad this year. It was a very close game against the 49ers week 1, and I don't think they should be underdog in this game, although they're underdog in this game. And guys, I'm not saying bet the house on every single game I pick. I'm just telling you the games that I am thinking about betting on. I have not placed any bets on the NFL yet, and every NFL bet I place will be public and will be on my Twitter. Also, very soon we are making a no sweat bet Telegram group that's specifically for no sweat bets. We have the normal crypto Telegram group. In case you guys are wondering, I took some time off. I needed to be a father for a little while. It was really kind of bothering me how much I was working and not spending time with my newborn daughter. I took a little bit of time off. I am getting back in the content. We are entering a full content schedule now. Obviously, I'm not apologizing for my absence. I'm not going to apologize because I want to be a good dad, but I did take some time off, and I appreciate you for your patience. Now we're getting back on the horse. Things are getting serious. We're going to kick things back up on the crypto Telegram, and we're also starting a Telegram just for Polymarket, just for no sweat bets, because guys, we've absolutely killed it. We have absolutely killed it on Polymarket this year. Like, seriously, I could just sports bet for a living and make really good money. I could do nothing else. If I wasn't so good at crypto, I would do this for a living. And I love that this show is sponsored by Polymarket and that Polymarket sponsors the channel, because this is a door to talk about anything. And it would be robbing my audience if I only talked about crypto. I would be robbing you guys of my knowledge if I only talked about crypto. So let's get into the more serious bets for week 2 here. Okay. I kind of went through, gave you my picks. Obviously, I like Seahawks over Steelers. I like LA over Tennessee. I'm going with the favorite with the Cardinals. I don't have an opinion on Broncos Colts. That's going to be close. This game, the rematch of the Eagles versus the Chiefs. This game, when they played in the Super Bowl, I went to the Super Bowl. I took my mom to the Super Bowl. She's a diehard Eagles fan. We sat in the 4th row in the Eagles end zone. I bet $120,000 on the Eagles. And the next day, I bought my first Rolex, which is completely iced out, $50,000 watch. So obviously, I kind of like the Eagles for this game. But the thing is, this game, the Chiefs are home. The Chiefs are home. They want their redemption for the Super Bowl. So guess what? I'm not touching this game with a stick. I'm not touching this game with a stick. The Chiefs are home. The Chiefs lost week 1, but they're home. And they want redemption against the Eagles. And week 2 games, you can kind of can bet the favorites a lot. A lot of times it's smart to just bet the favorite. If it's like a 65-35 or a 70-30, just bet the favorite. A lot of times you're going to be right. But games like this, where the money line clearly doesn't have an edge. I mean, 3%, 53% for the Eagles. The Eagles should win this game, but I'm not going to bet this game. The game I am going to bet is the Falcons versus the Vikings. This game is the night game tomorrow night on Sunday night. Let me double check that. Yeah, it is the Sunday night game. I wanted to make sure it's not the Monday night game. Really fast for Monday, I don't care about Buccaneers, Texans. I like the Chargers against the Raiders. I'll say that. But so we're not betting the Eagles, Chiefs. It's too close to call. But this game here is actually really awesome. Vikings played extremely well last week. We won that bet last week with the Vikings. The Falcons, lost their first game, not looking too hot. Like they're an okay squad, but like, I'm surprised the Viking shares are as cheap as they are, especially because they're playing at home. And if you were to bet the Vikings on this, get $1,000, you get about $1,600 back. A $10,000 bet would get you $16,000 bet. I am going for the Vikings, and for this week, that Vikings bet, that is my no sweat bet for the week. Lock it up, everybody. That one is easy money, in my opinion. The Vikings will win. Last thing of the show, we got to clear this up from our last show. So I've been talking all year about Minecraft. All right, which has been the biggest opening weekend of the year. People got me confused when I talked about the highest grossing movie of the year. When it comes to which movie has the biggest opening weekend, to this day, I'm still saying Minecraft. I've said Minecraft since 30 cents. Even now, if you bet $1,000 on it, you'd still get $1,300. That's literally a free bet. Lock it up, no sweat bet, free money betting on Minecraft for the biggest opening weekend of 2025. But when it comes to the highest grossing movie, as in which movie has made the most money all year long, you have to understand that Lilo and Stitch is actually down here at 9% now. Lilo and Stitch had the largest 4-day opening weekend in history. It beat Top Gun for the largest 4-day weekend, not 3-day because that's Minecraft, but in history, 4-day opener, Lilo and Stitch. And here's the thing. It's only at 9 cents now. And these shares, if you look at the graph here, Lilo and Stitch, actually, where is it? It went from 1% all the way to like 30%, 25%, and then came back down to 4%, 9%. But this is what people don't understand. I'm still standing by what I said about Lilo and Stitch, because if you kind of come down here and look into the comments, they kind of tell the story. Because the weekend when I gave you the Lilo and Stitch bet, it's still in theaters. I want you to know that Lilo is still in theaters to this day. Right here. This guy Dental, who's betting on Avatar. He said, comments are funny this evening. It's just not possible for Lilo. If they held the theater count last weekend, which is when I made the video, they could have done it, but it's over. I mentioned weeks ago, if you think Zootopia should number one, you should blah, blah, blah. Hold on. This isn't the right. Oh, right here. 24K for Lilo on Thursday with 2,440 theaters, $9 a theater, 400K left, but it only has 7 days and 330 theaters. And this is 8 days ago. This comment I'm reading is from 8 days ago. All right, so I want to continue this here. Hold on. Where's this comment at? Buy Lilo and Stitch 4 days ago. People are already actually saying that Lilo and Stitch is already the second highest grossing, and a Chinese movie is first. And they're saying that Polymarket's wrong. I don't agree with that. But here we go. Right here, 1 day ago, Lilo and Stitch is $300,000 away from Minecraft, and it made a whole $4,000 on Wednesday, and is playing at 100 screens this weekend. So, guys, Lilo and Stitch is only $300,000 away from Minecraft. Like, that's not that bad. And for 9 cents a share, if you were to just throw $100 at this, you'd get $1,000. If Lilo and Stitch makes 300, it makes 300,000 more dollars. And it's still in some theaters. That's the thing that people are kind of confused about. It is still in some theaters, but why did the shares go from 25 cents back down to 9 cents? Because they released it on Disney Plus. So it's Lilo and Stitch is still in some theaters. It's only $300,000, which is nothing, behind Minecraft, but they put it on Disney. So when I first said Lilo and Stitch, it was not on Disney yet, and it had a really good chance 2 weekends ago to catch Minecraft. There is still a chance for Lilo and Stitch. I'm not saying bet the house on this, but I am saying there's still a chance, and it's only $300,000 away. And it is a hell of a good movie. Maybe we should go see it in theaters. Wink, wink. All right, everybody. That's what I got. This has been a little bit longer than I wanted, but I wanted to catch up. You know, we got a lot going on. We are picking up on crypto live streams next week. Got a couple videos coming your way. You know, top 3 RWA projects. Got a price prediction coming your way. Got some portfolio updates, some rate my portfolios. Got an episode of Ask AJ Anything coming. We got a bunch of content coming out here really soon. I really appreciate all of you guys who've had my back this entire time. You guys mean the world to me. Thank you for being patient. But the truth is here, you know, I don't care if we have 1 million followers or 2 million followers. I care about making my audience money. And when it comes down to the question, have I made my audience money? The answer is hell yes, I have. This is No Sweat Bets. Have a safe rest of your day. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and get rich or get wrecked. Peace out, everybody.